So now that we kind of know how to control audio and to set it and shape it, I want to talk about how to prepare audio for a production or an interview or whatever you might need it for. And so one of the things that we're going to need to be able to do in controlling audio is to set it up and configure it the way we want it instead of trying to do it just on the fly. And so what we're going to do is a term called setting a level. And so we want somebody or someplace to present the ideal volume for what their channel, for what that channel is going to be. And then we can properly set our level for it by using the VU meters. And so because a bunch of different sources are going to have different audio, different level, recorded by different people with different technology, and it's never really going to be uniform. So instead of trying to do something on the fly, it's always best to set the level before your production or your video begins. And so one of the things we do is we get people to talk. And we get them to talk in a term we call the anchor's voice. So when a person is presenting news, they may have, or in a normal conversation, their voice and their audio may sound a certain way, and they may have a certain type of inflection like what I'm talking about right now. But then when they get on the news desk, they're going to change the way they present themselves, and they're going to have what's called an anchor voice. So an example might be in this note I have, mic levels should be set before the beginning of a production. But when they're doing it as an anchor, they may say, microphone levels must be set before a production. And so there's a different inflection in their voice. So by setting the audio before the production begins, you know it's going to be at an ideal level. So when we do, there's two ways we can listen to audio. We do what's called the level set, and then later on we will do a confidence check called a mic check. So a level set is done before the show. We will also turn audio on, and we will put it on program and on the air, and we will get the anchors to talk in the way they're going to be speaking during the newscast. So the anchors will usually say, good evening and welcome to Trojan Vision Nightly News for January 5th, 2018. And then we'll go on from there. And while they're talking in that voice, we'll find that ideal audio to make sure it's not too loud or too soft. Now, the other type of thing we're going to do during a show is called a mic check. Like I talked about earlier, the weather anchor, they're on a wireless microphone that has batteries. And if the batteries die before we come to the weather segment, then we could be in trouble. So we'll do a mic check during a show, but instead of going on program, we're now going to use an audition and hit the cue button. And with the mic check, they can say whatever they want. They can say, blah, 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 1, 2, 3, can you hear me? I've even had anchors look at me and they're like, what? And just because I heard them say something, that mic check was good. We're not trying to establish the audio level. We already did that when we did the level set. We're just making sure that we can hear their microphone through the audio board. So again, when they're doing the level set, they're going to read in their persona. Good evening. Welcome to Trojan Vision Nightly News for Friday, June 11th, 2021. I'm Jeff Herring. Thanks for joining us. When we're doing a mic check, it can be blah, 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 1, 2, 3. One time I turned on their microphone and I could hear them say, so anyways, I was Snapchatting my OMG buddy in my Instagram friend, and it's like, oh my gosh, this was like really funny. So we could just do that check and hear the audio that was coming out. We knew we were good. Now, one thing I also want to talk about is what's known as the 10-second rule. So before we come to an anchor, or after we're finished with an anchor, there's 10 seconds where the anchor should be quiet because the audio operator may not be fast enough in turning their microphone on or off. So if we are about to come to an anchor and they're about to talk, 10 seconds before, the director will usually say 10 seconds, stand by, and they'll tell them in their earpiece. Likewise, the camera people will also tell the people in the studio 10 seconds, stand by, and a lot of times they'll hold up their hand. And then when the director says cue them, the camera people will cue them, start talking. So when the anchor's done talking and they're going to now go into a story, we tell them to be quiet for an additional 10 seconds in case the audio operator forgot to turn off a mic, or they can't handle turning off 6 things, 5 things, and then sliding up music. So we tell them to be a little bit quiet to be ready, because from time to time we have had cases where two anchors were just chit-chatting about something going on in their lives, and the director would come back to them out of a story, and then they're talking about something personal or maybe embarrassing. So that's one of the things we always make sure when we're dealing with production and a studio anchor and a reporter, even doing a live shot, that during that 10 seconds before they start talking and that after they stop talking, that they be quiet, just in case the audio operator